the council. And note that we have determined to proceed with this meeting at 12:30 p.m. Acknowledgement of country is the first item. Council acknowledges the traditional custodians of the lands where we work and live. The council celebrates the diversity of Aboriginal peoples and their ongoing cultures and connections to lands and waters of the New South Wales Central Tablelands. Members of the public are advised that the proceedings of this meeting, other than any confidential matters, will be recorded and made publicly available on the council website. And persons attending the meeting should refrain from making any defamatory statements. First item. Apologies. I think we have member Ewan and member Leslie. Now I have someone to move that those apologies be accepted. Councillor Watt and member Smith. Member Watt and member Smith. Thank you. All those in favour of accepting the apologies? Thank you. Item 2 is the disclosure of interest. Council members are reminded of their obligation under the Council's Code of Conduct to disclose and appropriately manage conflicts of interest. If any member has any declaration of interest, they should do so now. Are there any declarations of interest by members? No declarations of interest. Next one is the confirmation of minutes. The recommendation is that council adopt the minutes of the previous meeting of the Upper Macquarie County Council. The ordinary meeting of the Upper Macquarie Council is held at C2. Could I have a mover, please? Member Smith, Member O'Connor. Thank you. Any discussion relating to those minutes? Any issues arising out of them? All those in favour of the resolution that the minutes of the 24th of February 2022 be adopted unanimously? Thank you. Item 4. Is the matters in progress update, which is an update to the 12th of May 2023. The recommendation, if council notes the matters in progress update, could I have a mover, please? Member Fry, Member O'Connor. Any discussion in relation to the recommendations, and the table of matters in progress, please? Could I just ask if we got any update on the change of business name, noting that the workshop 2022 payment name Central Tablelands Weed Authority. I note that I think we've gone out to our constituent council general managers for comment.
Yes,
general manager
commence the consultation with the constituent council with an email to each of the general managers, and I have a positive response. My email indicated if they had any violent objection to the name change, could they please come back? And they came back with positive, so they believe that it does appropriately recognise our function and where we're located. So they're looking forward to receiving a letter now after a resolution of this council that we've received that.
Through you, Mr. Chairman. Can I
Yes.
So, Tim, that was from all councils. Have you heard from all councils?
For general managers, I have.
Yes,
that's the
great.
only consultation that's occurred with the general manager at this stage.
Thank you.
Yes.
And on the strategic roadside spraying rotation, I think there's a service agreement consideration.
There is in the confidential.
In the confidential, yes.
Yes.
Okay. All those in favour of the recommendation, please. The recommendation is council note the report, and the report is the Government Information Public Access Act. And that has been lodged. I think there's a nil return. Sorry, I didn't talk. Can I have a mover, please? Member O'Connor, Member Watt. Thank you. Any comments in relation to the GIPA report? All in favour of the recommendation? Thank you. Unanimously. Insurance renewals, 6.1.2. The recommendation is that council notes the report. Can I have a mover, please? Member Smith, Member O'Connor. Maybe you could just give us a quick update, General Manager. Has there been an increase in our insurance premiums and what, how much?
Sorry, Member Andrew. The part of the process we're up to at the moment is just sharing of a whole stack of information with our insurer. There's no quotation received about what increments are going to occur. We did include in the budgets that there is pending rises in all across our insurances. But this report is really to let you know that we are proceeding with ensuring that the council is insured.
I just note that I think some of the councils have had quite significant. Okay, do I have all in favour of the recommendation, please? Thank you. We go to 6.1.3, registration. I think it should read of the business name Central Tablelands Weed Authority. The recommendation is that council proceed to register the business name Central Tablelands Weeds Authority. No opposition is received from the other councils of the Central Tablelands District following consultation. Could I have a mover, please? Member O'Connor and Member Smith. Before we vote on, I just ask, you've already updated us in relation to your contact with the general managers of our constituent councils. Is there any other, have we asked any other councils in the Central Tablelands that they have a view or?
No, I have not gone any broader than the constituent councils, and I'm thinking that I should nearly speak to local land services as well.
Yes.
Because the region we are in is Central Tablelands Local Land Services. I think it's, I don't know whether it's consulting them or informing them and asking if they had any concern that they should come back to it. But that'd be the extent of the plan consultation, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. So other than our four councils, what other councils are actually in the Central Tablelands? Cabonne, Orange,
Cara and Midwestern.
I'm just wondering if we should
Happy to.
I don't know. What do members think?
I think it's for this council to decide what we call ourselves. It's nice to have feedback from other areas, but that won't guide our decision making. I don't feel so. It's not entirely necessary. I think we represent the constituent councils and council laws on this council, so I can make sure that, which is the reason why we have two council laws representing as council members. So I believe the council law check is there. The general manager has already told us that he's contacted the bureaucracy of each constituent council, so that ticks that off too. You can send it as a nice to know once we do the change, but I wouldn't be asking permission or opinion from it. We're in the Central Tablelands, we're a weeds authority.
I wasn't going to seek. I wasn't. In Central Tablelands, I think that we don't actually do our weed spraying.
Well,
should we? So a letter of, I mean, it could be just a letter to say that we're intending to change our name to Central Tablelands Weeds Authority. If you've got any concerns with this, could you please advise?
Well, I think one broader than that, Mr. Chair, is actually having a broader discussion if this motion's passed today about any opportunities that this council may have moving forward in terms of commercialising the new name and the services we offer. So we might have to have a workshop offline
We're already doing that.
out of this.
And then Friday.
No. So this is my idea. No, I'm joking. Hey, I just need to tell our viewers and our fans out there on the internet that there could be commercialisation opportunities there. So how about we make these decisions around this council and its name, and then we can tell people about the good news and look for opportunities.
Anyone else got a view?
Well, it's just courteous to let them know.
Yeah.
as such. And
Yeah, I think we should, as a matter of courtesy, let them know because they are at the central table.
we're not sure that could actually develop into an opportunity too, so.
Well, we think it will, but, or may, but, the last thing is we wouldn't like to get someone, a council offside because we are representing ourselves without telling them first.
You've got to remember, Mr. Chair, though, that nobody owns the term central tablelands.
I think from the point you can probably progress with the name. And on the part of that is obviously we've now registered the same and then inform with the opportunity, because that'll move us forward. And then hopefully that'll open up that avenue of opportunity with that.
Okay,
So I trust the general manager to create the right language and rhetoric to make it respectful but informational.
so I think the point is we proceed with obviously the registration, we inform the other councils that the central tables that what we're doing, and that's how we move forward.
Yeah, I support that too, Mr.
Yep.
Chair.
To that point, would you like to inform the relevant local land services of the name change?
Well, I think General Manager's already said, so if we want a second recommendation, that we also inform the Central Tablelands LLS and the and Cabon, Cowra, Midwest and Orange councils.
It can go in one motion, can't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Second
Yeah,
recommendation.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with that. I'm
So
happy.
if we split as from the chair, I can move that as a second. We keep the first one as part one of the recommendation, part two will be as I have just said. Can I have a second for that? Thank you, member Watt. All in favour of that resolution. Do you want a rewording of that? Please, or?
We're underway.
We're underway. Okay.
You're okay, Ben?
Hmm?
That's okay with you?
I didn't hear the wording.
The wording was that we have the first recommendation as it is. The second recommendation is that the general manager advise the Central Tablelands LLS and the councils of Cabon, Cowra, Midwest and Orange of our proposed change of name.
As in just advising.
Would it be proposed though?
Of our change of name.
Yeah.
About
Take the
change.
word proposed out.
Yeah.
Not being,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, are we happy with that?
That makes
Are you
sense.
happy as the seconder?
Yep.
Member Watt? Can I have so we have the recommendation in two parts. We'll vote on the two parts together. We all in favour? Thank you.
Then the amendment becomes a motion. We'll pass that.
Well, I suppose so. The amendment now becomes the motion. All in favour of the motion?
Well done, Mr. Chair.
To investigate ways to ensure that their obligations under the Modern Slavery Act 2018 New South Wales are met. Can I have a mover, please? Member Smith, second.
Happy to second.
Member Watt. Any discussion on this, gentlemen? Yes, Member Brian.
Yeah, I think it's something you have to check off these days, but it'd be interesting to find the supply chain behind some of the products that we use. And any research into that.
That's the point, isn't it?
That's the point.
That's the
We
point.
have to do that.
Yeah,
Yes,
So
so
we
I
have
think
to
that
do
it's
it.
interesting and that where that's the way we're thinking,
Hmm.
just for the minutes. Sorry for stating.
All
the
right,
obvious.
any other discussion?
not at all, Ben.
Right, all in favour of the resolution, recommendation? Thank you. 615 is the implementation of amendments to the State Records Act 1998. The recommendation is that council note the report. Can I note the report? Can I have a mover, please? Member O'Connor, Member Smith, thank you. Any discussion on this matter? Can I have all in favour of the recommendation? Any against? No. Passed unanimously. 616 is the interim external audit commencement. The recommendation is that council notes the report. Can I have a mover, please? Member O'Connor, Member Smith. Any discussion on this, and maybe General Manager, have got the update on this?
Yes, we've actually commenced the interim audit in preparation. They were with us for one day this week. I'm meeting with them to discuss matters that were in a management letter as at last year. That occurs next Tuesday. Lisa is again very well prepared for our audit. It does occupy a lot of our time. We're again pushing to be one of the first councils in the state to complete their audits, which we've achieved in the last 2 years. Things look in order at the moment because we've got good relations with our auditors at the moment. This is the last year of this audit firm. We get changed next year. Look forward to greeting some new auditors into the business.
Thank you. All in favour of the resolution?
Could you move that way, please?
Oh. 6.2 policy. The first one, 6.2.1, amendments to the compliance and enforcement policy.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, just a question for the General Manager on the previous item, if you don't.
Sorry.
Tim, you said the orders get changed. Is that that's a requirement these days that you change
Yes,
that?
the Office of New South Wales go to tender for businesses to actually audit local government in New South Wales. The audit office itself appoints itself to undertake some of those audits across New South Wales. So yes, that's a change for every council. I don't know whether their timing is the same, Bruce, but I know that we're up for a change next year.
So they're aiming to prevent cosy relationships with auditors in organisations?
Long-term relationships with external auditors have appeared across New South Wales, and that was very frequent. And some of those relationships went into the decades. So I just think this is a fabulous move. Even though we've got our current auditors, we've got a really good relationship. Lisa can get, she can consult with those at any time. Intentus, is that? Intentus, yeah.
So one of the reasons there's always quite often a change of auditors within the company area, they found companies quite often get too close to their auditors.
Yeah, I'm
That's one of the
familiar with that.
reasons
Yeah.
local government has this tendency.
Yeah.
Because the last thing they want to do, they expect the auditors to be relatively independent from here,
Yeah.
not to get too close to the organisation. All right, I'm happy to go on to 6.2 policies because I think we've actually moved that recommendation. This is in relation to the amendments to the compliance and enforcement policy. There's 3 recommendations there, and I will propose a 4th one at the end, so if we can bear with me for a minute. First one is amend table 4 of the enforcement action guide.
It's copies of this document on the table, Mr. Chairman, the policy.
That's the existing one.
That's the existing
Without the
policy.
amendments.
Correct. We wanted to have a look at what it currently says, and then we may be able to talk through that.
And this was circulated to members as part of the business later. And I did ask the General Manager if he could provide us with a markup with the proposed amendments, but he thinks it's not appropriate at this stage. And that's why, and I'll talk to that when we get to point 4. So the first one is amend the table 4 enforcement action guide levels of decision making to increase fire security officer delegation. Currently, biosecurity officers issue weak control notices only. It is recommended to change this to enable officers to inspect for and issue a first direction, re-inspect and recommend issuing a penalty infringement notice. Apply delegation limitations to biosecurity will be issued by the manager. Amend the policy to reflect enforcement actions arising from non-compliance. The second direction includes enforceable undertaking, council undertakes control works or court proceedings. remove the second pin from the policy. The third is amend the section 14 issue of directions, penalty notices, part 4 titled time cycle for notices and directions, and part 6 enforcement time cycle, setting maximum limits on the compliance period as follows. For a weed control notice, 9 months, and the directions, 6 months. And applying extensions as per guidelines only. Now, I'm proposing a 4, which will be the general manager seek input and discuss these proposed changes with the other county councils that the UMC is intending to collaborate with in relation to this and other UMCC policies. Just before, that's my wording that I put down. Are you happy with that?
Yes.
Because I think
We could actually, no, it's most really not appropriate until we enter an agreement to use the names of those candidates.
That's right. That's why I'm leaving it vague. Yeah. Okay. As I said before, I did ask whether we might get a marked up version. I'm suggesting that maybe once it's been circulated to the other county councils, that maybe the general manager could circulate a marked version, because the wording's going to have to be done anyway.
Yes.
To us to just check the word, to just see the wording, because it will then, once you put these changes into context, it will then make sense. So,
Mr. Chairman, I was also asking you in your point 4 of the recommendation to add a commencement date for any amendments that are made. And
well, maybe we make it point 5 that the amendments to this policy take effect by the 1st of September 2023.
that's all. The effective date would be the date of this meeting. And then if there's no comments from the public, it'll be dated that the policy changes as at today.
So
I want an opportunity to talk with the other county councils. We're at a very early stage of entering agreements before the policy takes effect with these changes. I'll talk more in closed business about that agreement.
So could we say that the amendment will take effect 1st of September 2023, unless the general manager needs to come back to this, to the Upper Macquarie County Council with any issues? Yeah. Are you happy with that?
Just wondering how the staff and that feels the officers, or they?
Sorry, what? Trying to just, let's put the, can we have a mover? Member Smith? Member O'Connor, right, Member O'Connor, sorry, I just thought we should have a week.
Yes, I'm wondering how the field officers and Chris feel about this, is it?
Member O'Connor, we've had one consultation only. I didn't want to take away the council being first to have this discussion. But, following the first consultation, there has been one member of staff who has been recently appointed to council, and I say recently, in the last 3 years. So it's during this current policy that you have. So that member of staff, when employed, was not with delegation to actually do what we're asking him now to do. So it's quite a significant change to the job that they applied for. So there is some consultation that needs to occur, and that's not just locally, that will be including industrial consultation. Could be for a staff member that was employed without these delegations, and now we're trying to request that they do adopt those delegations in their job, that there may be also some consideration of salary levels, because it's greater responsibility out that.
Yeah.
But there's a flip side to that too. There are employees of the council who previously had powers that were actually removed when this policy was first put in 2018-19. That they shifted everything to Chris, and he made those difficult and high level decisions around penalty infringement notices, prosecution, etc., etc. So yes, thank you. Definitely we'll be speaking with the staff more, and I noticed that the chairman has left it open for me to possibly come back if I'm seeing any interruptions to it and any changes that are needed before the 1st of September.
That was one of the reasons for that, and also if the other county councils raised the issues, give them discretion. Sorry, thank you, Minister.
Yes, I think it was answered earlier, but I just want to confirm. So this change will now go on public display, correct? No. That's good. Yep, that's great.
And I'm suggesting before it goes on public exhibition that a marked version be circulated, just in case someone picks up something and says, oh.
Yeah, there's just even some language things that we can tidy up.
Absolutely.
No, so I'm suggesting, I mean, I didn't put it as a formal recommendation that it come out as a.
Just a bit of a
That's why I was a little bit confused with earlier comment, because I thought there was a way, and then obviously page numbers, I'd like you to.
Yes, those types.
So, I am suggesting that I can put it as a recommendation if members feel, but I'm assuming that the general manager will circulate it to us with a marked version, which I think.
Great.
All right.
And you consider that 6 months for direction of the time with road to and adding the office going outward.
Well, could I put a 6th recommendation that something similar, I would be suggesting something like this, that the general manager be authorised to make any necessary incidental changes to the policy that are considered necessary prior to consulting with the county council. Are we happy with that?
I'm happy with that, yeah.
We have the other 5, is that whoever the mover and the second will work, are they happy with that 6th point?
Would you like a 7?
Well, we have the 7th one as the marker, but I think we'll leave that. Okay. Are we happy with that,
Amendment?
and then I can suggest that you two, discuss that between you. Okay. All right, we have a recommendation now in 7 parts, 6 parts, I think it is, 6 parts, sorry. I'll put the recommendation, all in favour? Unanimously passed. Thank you, everybody. You've got all that word, yes, there they are. All right, the next one is the quarterly budget review statement of the third quarter. The recommendation, council notes the report. Just quick, do we have to put this on public exhibition? We put it on our website.
It goes with the business paper on the website. It should be attached to the business paper on the website.
Okay, could I move, put a second recommendation that the gentleman be authorised to make the necessary incidental changes to QBRS, because I have put a couple of changes through that I think should be made before it goes to business paper, isn't it?
They're the ones that we looked at.
They're just the capital items, wasn't it?
Uh,
And they were the same as in the strategic plan, etc.
that was to do with the op plan and we're talking with the.
QBRS, all right, I'll leave the QBRS, but I thought it had a capital budget on the back of it as the last page.
It does, but that, when you were talking about the next budget moving forward to 23-24, in those amendments that you sent through to us,
Yeah.
we're talking about the 23-24.
All right,
Delivery program and the 10-year plan, and that's what's impacting on the capital budget, and that's what's changed, but not the QBRS.
Is an update of the last budget.
Yeah, otherwise you're gonna update the last budget, which we're.
All right.
finalised anyway.
but yes, they are, they're projected. Oh, I don't know. All right, I'll leave it. Thank you. We'll leave that one out. Council notes report. Can I move it? Mayor O'Connor, Member Watt, thank you. Discussion on the QBRS. Seem to be running in accordance with our budget. All in favour? Yes. Passed unanimously. 632 is the operational plan delivery program business activity strategic plan. The recommendation is the council place the operational plan delivery plan on public exhibition for 28 days, seeking public comment and bring back before the ordinary council meeting on the 16th of June 2023. Part 2 is to place the business activity strategic plan on public exhibition for 28 days, seeking public comment and bring back the plan before the ordinary council meeting on the 16th of June 2023. I will add a 3, the general manager be authorised to make any necessary and incidental changes to the operational plan and delivery program and the business activity strategic plan before it goes on public exhibition. I'll move it, please. Member Smith, Member O'Connor. I don't know, I put a few comments through the general manager and about some changes in wording. Feedback's brought back to the council.
As long as there's enough time for you guys to decipher and prepare a report on that.
We usually have very little, but there's.
Yeah, just a point of clarification, Mr. Chairman. So that's an amendment if you've added a. Or,
That, I'm proposing that as part of the recommendation.
so it's just part of the original.
So I've read it out, so the member, I'm assuming that the mover and the seconder accepted that. That proposed third point.
Yep.
Just because I think there are a couple of changes that need to be made. I don't know if any other members put anything through. No. Some of them I've just asked for consideration to have a look at some wording. It wasn't to say change it necessarily, but just have a look at it.
I'll just have a look. That's right. Well, we're not making any changes, we can't.
Oh, no, but some of it there's a little bit of update. Okay. All in favour of the resolutions in 3 parts? Passed unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, the work that's been undertaken in preparation of the budget. Member Bruce Reynolds, who's not with us today, undertook wonderful work. He really did offer up his time and voluntary capacity, and he is expert in the area. The assistance that he offered to Lisa and myself during the development of the budget is worthy.
Well, do we want to put a recommendation in the file?
Be on the record, but if you wish it just to be said and shared with the councillor, I'm happy with that.
As in a motion of appreciation.
Motion, well, it could be a 4th point to say, members, appreciate the efforts of member Reynolds in assisting with the budget.
I could help out.
If he's fit enough, right, we're not fit enough.
We should wish him a speedy recovery.
If we do, yes, we should.
I'd actually like to do more than be, because I think he has.
Yes.
I mean, I'm only familiar with a tiny bit of it, but it's pretty impressive what I've seen. So
Yeah.
I think
the checking that he does and the advice, and in no way does he influence Lisa and I and our decisions in presenting this budget to you. But right at the moment, Lisa, who's actively engaged in this, is also undertaking some studies externally in accounting. And it's very valuable to her to have such advice as well in those studies. So the relationship's just been fabulous, just so supportive. And I just don't think we would have got across the line without the advice that he offered. Now, he doesn't bully us. It's not his budget in any way. And there's been some debates in there that we've pushed back on the councillor's view. But
I think he should get some sort of a plaque or something for it.
I'd like to propose an amendment on number 4, that the council notes and appreciates Councillor Reynolds' dedication and commitment to this particular item.
Second.
We passed the other recommendations with that.
Can we just do a formal acknowledgement?
You make it a separate motion.
Make it a separate motion, so I don't, okay, we have a,
Motion for member Fry.
Can you deliver some beer to them?
at 6 point,
No,
we have a motion. All in favour? Passed unanimously. That's a 6.3.28. That's low. Don't wait to get in. 6.3.3 is the investment report, it's the 30th of April. Recommendation is council notes the report. Have a member, please. Member O'Connor, member Smith. Obviously, the situation is pretty well, very similar to what was the second quarter, slightly improved. Any further comment? All in favour? Thank you. 6.4, human resources, the general manager's annual performance review. We will need this 0.3 on this to actually nominate the people from Bathurst and Lithgow who are going to participate.
No.
would that not be captured by point
That's in
two?
number 2, I think.
So,
It actually almost perfectly captures it.
if we take the X out,
We'll have to make an amendment to the X's.
that's right. So,
Point three.
oh, yeah. All right, so the recommendation is that council elects a member from the Lithgow Council and Bathurst Council participate in a subcommittee with the chairman member, councillor Andrew McKibben, and deputy chairman member, councillor Bruce Reynolds, in an annual performance review with the general manager, Tim Johnston. The 2 is that, and I'll read this, council nominates member X from Bathurst Council and member X from Lithgow Council to participate in the general manager's performance review subcommittee. Before putting the recommendation, do we have nominations from Lithgow and Bathurst to fill those positions?
I would like to nominate councillor Fry from Bathurst.
Are you happy to accept that nomination?
Oh, God, yeah, I'd love to.
Expertise and
Panache.
That's required.
so can I make a move that we change one X to
Yes.
member
No,
Fry?
we don't have to amend it. In case of the semantics, we just roll through. We don't have to amend it.
I haven't put the recommendation for a proposal or a second yet. And can I have a member, O'Connor, you're the only person, are you happy to
I'm
nominate
happy.
yourself?
Yes, I am.
Right.
Well, I'm happy to nominate a member.
Pardon?
Thank you.
Did we go need to say?
Beg pardon?
No.
What was that, member Fry? I missed it.
It's either with the biggest contributor to it.
Per capita, maybe, yeah.
So I have put both recommendation 1 and now recommendation 2, I now propose to reword as follows. Council nominates member Fry from Bathurst Council and member O'Connor from Lithgow Council to participate in the general manager's performance review subcommittee. Could I put the could I have a proposal for the recommendation as worded?
Can I amend the number 2? Sorry, Baptist Regional Council. Good read.
Is the seconder happy? We have a seconder yet?
We haven't moved it yet.
We're changing that may change, yeah, and I'll second that.
Right. Member Smith, you're going to second it with that slight change?
Word regional, yes.
Yeah, regional, okay. Do you want me to reword it, read it?
It's a matter of semantics, we'll just pass the original.
Right. It's not being.
Bring this chamber to order, Mr. Chair.
Are there any other discussions on this these 2 recommendations? Or the recommendation in 2 parts?
I think it's very.
Safety, 6.2, The recommendation council notes the report. Have a mover, please. Member Smith, Member O'Connor. It's very pleasing to see that we actually found Safe Work very positive in their feedback, and they actually provided assistance to us. So I think hopefully will give us a good relationship with Safe Work.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a lot of engagement there, which I was going to say, well done.
Because often you don't have that, yeah.
It's my first engagement with Safe Work. And you know, I was somewhat surprised that the approach. It really was consultative, and they gave us every opportunity to respond to anything they put to us, and it was useful. When we went to the staff to actually consult those changes, there wasn't much that the staff wanted to change. So it was a good exercise. Disappointing the way it was brought to account, which was a complaint, and the complainant is not known to us. Safe Work does not reveal that and then proceeds. So there is someone out there that has spent time to actually raise this concern. I'm taking that as a positive thing as well. The members of the public have spent some time to understand, you know, how work practices, and that's a good thing. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All in favour of the resolution? Passed unanimously. We go to 643, staff resourcing. The recommendation is that council notes the report. I'd ask, before we have the proposal second, is there any, or actually I'll ask for proposal second. Mover, please. Member O'Connor, Member Watt. I'd like to just ask the General Manager to ask if there's any update on this.
We are operating with this staff member on leave, and because the matter does involve an individual staff member, it is difficult for me to talk in some detail there. It would require us to move to a closed session. The council is moving to a closed session in this business paper, so I can take that forward and have a further discussion with you at that.
Okay, so if there's further queries, we raise that in confidential, it doesn't involve the individual staff.
Yeah.
Okay. Any further discussion on this matter?
Just on that, General Manager, do you think it can be discussed in generalities, I would have thought, rather than
Specific.
naming
Yes.
the individual?
I will endeavour to do that. The organisation's so small, it's difficult to do, but.
So member what, ask the question. If I think it's going to delve to areas of confidential, I'll ask that you raise them confidential. So raise the question if you've got one, and I'll make that.
Yeah. Yep, I was just more making an observation at this stage.
Oh, okay, cool. Sorry.
Yeah.
All in favour of the resolution? We go to the aerial program, item 7.1, aerials program tender changes. The recommendation is the council notes the aerial program tender was changed by addenda. I'll just make a comment before I propose and second that. This was discussed between the General Manager and myself, what we should do in this regard, and we thought in order to make our request for tenders as proposal, Move up.
Move us along.
Member O'Connor. Member Smith, thank you. I think I've dealt with you. Is there anything else you'd like to raise, gentlemen?
I think the report's there for the councillors to see why.
Any other discussion on this? Put the proposal, put the recommendations. All in favour? Thank you. Item 8 is the roadside spraying program. The recommendation is that council notes the report. Can I have a mover, please? Member O'Connor, member Watt. I note that I've put some change, couple of changes.
Yeah.
through.
Thank you. I haven't attended to those as yet, but they will be.
Just to, couple of, fixing up wording, etc. Any other discussion on this matter? Gives us a reason, it gives us the, roads that have been done. I think all funding has now been exhausted for roads, is that right?
We're tiny bit left, council, so the contractors are all gone.
Yes.
Lift goes completely finished, both contractors and staff.
Yes.
Oberon has about 5 hours of staff time left.
Right.
Blaney has about 9 of staff left, and Bathurst has about 30 of staff left.
So the lift goes all been done.
Lift goes all being done.
All right, okay, that gives us a bit of an update. All in favour of this, the recommendation, the report be noted? Thank you, passed unanimously. Item 9 is biosecurity compliance, and the recommendation is that council note the reports. Could the mover please? O'Connor, member Watt. Again, I put a couple of notes of changes through all this. Discussion on this matter. The I think it speaks for itself. How are we managing to do some more first inspections now since the aerial program has been announced? And how are our inspections going?
We're still.
We've still got 81 properties on 90 days, I think.
Yes. So part of that was obviously partly due to the aerial spraying program, taken up a lot of that. Then we've got the roadside program, staff trying to use up the last of the staff hours for that. So at the moment, they're focusing on that to try and get that out before the season finishes. The other issue, the other thing included in this is the accrued time because of the aerial spraying program. Which then means that staff now trying to use up the accrued time that they built during the aerial spraying program. So
Speak to that particular.
Okay, fine. Oh, I just asked a quick question and you might be able to answer it in your commentary. Obviously, we're getting to the end of, say, the blackberry season, and they're going to be losing leaves, starting to lose leaves. Is it feasible to inspect or spraying once they've lost their leaves, or not?
still feasible to inspect, it's harder.
Harder to
Harder
find,
to identify.
harder to identify with the inspection.
In terms of when inspecting now in a little while, in terms of the fine state that we given, we still run into the same. They'll be inspected now or they inspected in like a month's time. Because we come to the end of the season.
That's right.
The fine state.
The time accrued and taken point that's in this report is significant, and it's also been brought to our attention by our current audit in the way in which the council manages this. There has been passed an agreement that was struck at the council that the staff do accrue time in lieu of the overtime they work during the aerial program. And that is significant. There's been several issues raised that were of concern to me that we may be moving towards a breach of award conditions. And there seems to be a capacity of the organisation to well, it's a commitment that I don't think I've seen in most local government organisations, that these gentlemen are willing to work additional hours, and we need to renegotiate that agreement. to really understand it, because our workforce now, we've had some people come on a little bit later, so they're not all one group when the initial agreement was struck. So we will be going back into some negotiation. The arrangements for working additional hours during that area.
The, obviously spring through till end of autumn is usually a higher intensity area periods, I would have thought. Is there any ability for us to have that time and will take in the winter, for instance, where we may not have as much overall activity?
We've had the agreement for the accrual. The agreement doesn't stretch to how do you then utilise that accrual. And when you look at it from that perspective, it really does become, from management perspective, we don't want it to disrupt our programs. And you're correct, but imposing upon a staff member who has voluntarily entered this agreement to work long hours during the area program, and then tell them they need to take this leave during the middle of winter in Bath.
Not really,
is sometimes I don't think that would be.
So we need to review it.
So it needs to be other means.
As well to other things like training.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so we wouldn't want them off training either, and that's when we try and utilise that downtime to take them out of the field.
So do we need a recommendation?
it's got to be fair anyway.
So we need a recommendation of general content just to get the time to cool.
I believe the auditors smack on, but and we've started the conversation next Tuesday. They're talking on this subject with us. So
It's considered a low risk, but it is something that we need to consider.
What sort of hours are we talking here? Like, what are the ramifications to the budget if we start paying overtime?
yeah, the overtime provisions for the award are that overtime is only paid after they work 70 hours in the period, or is it 20, 35 in a week?
Wait, you're right.
Yeah, so the way I saw this year's program, it's the first one I've witnessed, is the staff lock on at 5 a.m. in the morning, and that is to travel to where the helicopter will be for that day. And then they start operating as soon as they possibly can. Then they operate through as long as the helicopter is available to fly. So some of those days that I've witnessed have gone to 10 to 12 hours.
On the flip side to that, also, sorry, may I add, is that if you start to build in that overtime to the landholder, so when we sell that service, you get yeah, a lot longer.
So this organisation has evolved and since its inception and used helicopters more and more.
Yeah.
And obviously we have had a staffing structure or PD, I guess, when we hire people based on a certain way of doing things that may not suit the new way of doing.
And we're also bound by an award.
What a It's the local government.
Oh, we have a, yeah. of
And it's
course.
new, there's a new one coming.
And despite vicissitudes or the issues with helicopters, etc.,
Yeah.
the award prevails.
And it's inflexible.
And there's not, in some areas, there's not a lot of flexibility.
Well, the negotiation that has occurred and was put in place, that occurred, but it needs to be renegotiated at the moment. And the view to staff in these times that may have changed, and that could have an influence on several programs. Sure.
So, I mean, we could have a recommendation, the general manager bring back to us a report, importance and recommendations, but you're happy just to work on that.
I think I'll be directed to work on it through the audit process.
Yeah.
So it's not going to get dropped.
Okay? But we would expect a paper in due course on what your views are on it.
Yes, if those programs, which are significant programs to the council, it's what we do.
That's right.
Any adjustments to them, yes, definitely back here in front of you. Lisa, if I could just ask Lisa.
Sorry, if I might add too, I'm hoping to bring back the summary of the last area of the program that we conducted in autumn. And in that, we could propose how to improve it moving forward. So rather than creating a separate report after separate
Yeah.
report, let's build it all into one moving forward.
So that would be the next meeting.
I don't know. Really that open?
And if we could also indicate in that report how much time has been accrued by our staff in undertaking that. Well, yeah, that can be confidential. Yeah. Because that will then give us an understanding of the magnitude.
Yeah, I agree.
That may drive our
Thinking,
all our tenders for the helicopters and
Well,
how,
it
how-
also-
what we ask of them and how much of the work.
but
they do.
it also may drive any renegotiation of agreements in future as to how we structure those. So there's a whole host of areas that may.
This is a complex review. You'd want a fair bit of time to try and understand the
I'll be
impact.
back here in July.
Yeah, no,
No,
yeah, but it's too complex in a couple of months. We'll have it tomorrow, I
3
think.
weeks. 3 weeks.
All right, I think we've discussed the issue, and we note the comments that have been made by, the general manager and administration and person, and we will move on that basis. Sorry, what do I call you now?
Administration person.
Well, I can't say lady or man, can I?
Well, what do you call it?
him,
General manager. Administration manager. I'm gonna report.
They,
you can have X of Y.
Actually, no, that-
them.
Hey,
I would be very careful.
administration.
Administration manager.
Just like,
All right, thank you.
that's a political.
Could I, all in favour of the recommendation, please? Thank you. Let's get on to next issue, which is penalty infringement notice. 9.2, recommendation is that council notes the report. Have a mover. Member Smith, Member O'Connor, thank you. Discussion on this? Yes.
Just clarity on context. Only it's issued 86 in 2018.
So we've only, as I said, issued 5 pins this year. Yep. Yep. Correct. That would be a lot of pins. Does that mean we have overall compliance or that we haven't had time to issue?
It's a combination of, we've had people undertaking work. So that's why that number is lower, and also partly combination of the re-inspections, which have had a group with the staff have been occupied with area of those sort of.
Yeah, you're outstanding, yep.
There'll be more activity on that as we get those control inspections.
Right, I think so, yeah, okay. Any other comments or discussions? I will put the resolution. All in favour? Number 10 is other matters. It is the county council meeting schedule. The recommendation is council proposed meeting schedule. Mover? Right, Member O'Connor. Just on this, the 16th of June 2023, that's 12 PM. I think someone made a comment about is it 12 PM? Smith, that's correct. Is that also going to be intending to take a for appropriate discussion, or is that going to occur after this meeting? Yes.
I wanted it at 12 to enable us to have a function between councillors and the staff.
Right.
And I made that suggestion to the chairman, and we haven't got a decision on that as yet. I was looking at the chairman.
I did.
Yes. Okay. So the reason that we've moved to that.
Whether I did it in the
lunch
email or whether I did it.
is to try and break nice and early in the afternoon, that we can then head off together and join the staff for a game of bowls in the afternoon.
Oh, this is a Christmas party.
In July, delay Christmas party.
Christmas in July. Beautiful.
Yeah.
In June.
So what it was is, we tried to have one pre-Christmas for the chairman's effective start of their contributions during the year, and we're now trying to get that off the ground again.
Yeah.
So, it's there, and you've said yes.
I was gonna-
Now proceed to go with yes on the 16th. Councillor Reynolds said no to 16th, he may be away, but all his plans may change. Depending on today.
I know the opportunity that we were looking at in the afternoon, because we probably will be able to do barefoot bowls. In the morning might be a bit frosty.
Well, Mr. Chairman. Can I make a couple of observations?
Yes.
First, I understand member Leslie is a very accomplished bowler, so I'd like to be on his team. And I understand the general manager adopting quite a competitive approach and was about to start training as soon as the date was announced, so. You
I
know,
think he delayed it on purpose because he's.
I think he felt his training was a bit rough.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, none of those points are correct. I'm also quite a good bowler.
We all.
That's my judgment. Happy to demonstrate that on the day, but the main purpose of the day, we're not bowls. It really is to bring staff and council together so you can say hello.
Sounds excellent. Sounds excellent.
We would have, the reason the council meeting's been brought forward is that we can break earlier, because that released per hour, and the staff will be there waiting for us to arrive. So it's Dibley's, it's hand food, finger food, use your food if you like, and bowls.
So it's at the Greens, is it?
Yeah, yes, at the Greens, which is the Bathurst, the
The
old
old
Bathurst Bowling Club.
At the city community centre. Something.
That's good. If, I'm sorry, I missed your response to that, Mr. Chairman.
It might have been me, maybe I didn't see. I thought I had.
I'm gonna guess he didn't reply. Just a guess.
Thank you for your comments, Member Fry. Can I, all in
Can I have a
favour of the recommendation? Thank you, passed unanimously.
I'll have to take that later.
Now, notice of motion, there is a notice of motion, and as the chair, I will be putting this in the member Reynolds' absence, and I actually worded this with member Reynolds, so we were going to propose a second, so. The notice of motion is that the general manager investigate the staffing structure of Upper Macquarie County Council and bring back a report to the council on possible suggestions for projects and activities going forward, which may provide budget efficiencies to the organisation. As the chairman, I move this notice of motion. Can I have a second for it, please? Member Fry. Discussion on this. If I could make a commentary first, this is to give the general manager some flexibility in investigating the staffing structure and to provide to us some suggestions as to changes that may assist us with our budget moving forward. We've all seen the strategic plan and the delivery plan moving forward, and we will need to make some changes in foreseeable years to ensure that we remain in positive territory. Member Fry, Mr. Stickler.
May I suggest that this potentially be the report that we were talking about prior to this, about the operation of how our staff are involved in our helicopter. It's a big part of our business, albeit a short amount of time. But this really, the crux of that issue is the broader scope of what business are we in, what should we focus on, and how we are structured. Can I suggest that review piece becomes this report back to council,
Well,
noting that it doesn't have a due date here?
well, it will be a subset of it. We didn't put a date, but I can ask the general manager, do you have a date in mind?
No, I like it without the date at the moment. The piece of work you're talking about is a review of that. And during the budget process that we're just now concluding, there's been a workshop with councillors, certain matters were put on the table then. I think we're now giving further consideration to those. So that I don't want to put a date on this. I think I'll be recommending that we come back together and workshop on a couple of matters before I find there's any document that I bring to the council. So if it could be left open, I'd appreciate that. But Mr. Chairman, if you want to put a date on it, for a pretty long lead on it, please.
Well, I'm happy to leave it open. We can always raise it as in another meeting and say we need to add to it. Any other further discussion on this matter?
I think that's fair, purely based on the fact that the detail and the sensitivity of it, I think it's critical that it's.
And I would
Taking
be
in
suggesting that from, it's the gentleman's determination, but I'd be suggesting that the final report in relation to this would be in confidential anyway.
Absolutely.
And we'll also be looking at the issue as Member Fryer suggested that we raised before in relation to time, through time and error. Now move to well, confidential reports. The recommendation is that the council resolved to move closed committee. The council resolved to move into closed committee to review the following items: Chairman's minute, Transport for New South Wales UDL Rail and City Rail Network, prosecution cases update, compliance and weed biosecurity property inspections for January, February and March 2023. Could I have someone to move the recommendation? Member Fry, seconded Member O'Connor. All in favour that we move into closed session? Thank you. Could I ask that the recording cease, please? The recommendations arising out of the closed committee report is number 12, the chairman's minute. The recommendations of the chairman's minute were noted. 13, Transport for New South Wales UGL Rail and City Rail Network. The report was noted. 14, the prosecuting cases update. The report was noted. And compliance, weed biosecurity property inspection for February, March and April 2023, the report was noted. I note that the next meeting is to be held on the 16th of June 2023 at 12 midday. What's wrong?
Need to move the confidential.
I'll move, yeah, sorry. Well, the confidential, you had a mover and seconders, didn't you?
Yeah.
We through that?
So they
So we adopted those, the recommendations from the confidential, Member Fry, Member Smith, and the respective movers and seconders for each of those recommendations within confidential. All right, I note that the next meeting is 16th of June 2023 at 12 PM here. Without it, that's the end of the business today, and the meeting is closed at